when the security guard blocked the gate and told me I couldn't enter my own daughter's wedding, I thought that was the worst moment of my life. But then I heard Rebecca's voice behind him, laughing with her new in-laws. "Just tell the parasite to wait outside," she said. "We'll deal with her later." My daughter, the girl I raised alone. She just called me a parasite. Then my own husband, Richard, stepped forward. The man I'd been married to for 38 years looked the guard straight in the eye and said, "Pretend you don't know her. She's not my wife today." I turned to walk away, my hands shaking, tears burning my eyes. But 30 minutes later, my daughter's perfect wedding was destroyed. And I was the one who destroyed it. Let me back up, because you need to understand how I got to that gate in the first place. My name is Dorothy Whitmore. I'm 63 years old, and I live in Portland, Oregon. For the past 40 years, I've worked as a nurse at Sacred Heart Hospital. Night shifts, double shifts, holidays, you name it, I worked it. When my daughter Rebecca was 3 years old, her father walked out that door and never came back. One Tuesday morning, he said he was going to buy cigarettes. That was 25 years ago. So it was just me and Becca, just the two of us against the whole world. I remember coming home at midnight, my feet hurting so bad I could barely walk. My back was screaming, but I'd peek into her bedroom just to watch her sleep, and suddenly none of that pain mattered anymore. That little girl was my whole heart. I saved every dollar I could. I kept the money in a shoebox under my bed, money for her college, for her future, for all the dreams I never got to have. I wore the same 3 dresses for 10 years. I cut my own hair in the bathroom mirror because haircuts cost money. I ate leftovers for dinner so Becca could have fresh food. And Becca was so smart, top of her class at Lincoln High School. When she graduated, I cried so hard that Mrs. Chun from next door had to hold me up. My baby was going places. Then she got a full scholarship to the University of Washington. I remember that day like it was yesterday. We danced around my tiny kitchen, laughing and crying at the same time. "We did it, Mom," she said, hugging me tight. "We actually did it." Years later, I met Richard at the hospital. He was kind, steady, and he loved Rebecca like his own daughter. We got married when Becca was 12. Finally, we were a real family. I thought nothing could ever break us apart. I was wrong. Before we go further, let me ask you something. Have you ever been betrayed by the people you trusted most? Drop a comment below. I read every single one. Rebecca became a lawyer at Morrison and Associates in Seattle, one of those fancy glass tower companies downtown, where everyone wears suits that cost more than my car payment. She was 28 when she brought Trevor Ashford home to meet us. The moment he walked through my door, I knew something was wrong. He smiled at me, shook Richard's hand, said all the right words, but his eyes were looking at everything. The old couch with the worn armrest, the kitchen table I bought at a garage sale 15 years ago, the water stain on the ceiling I couldn't afford to fix. He was judging us, judging me. "This is cozy," he said, and the way he said that word made my skin crawl. But Rebecca was glowing. She hung on his arm like he was the sun, and she was starving for light. She laughed at his jokes before he even finished telling them. She kept touching his shoulder, his hand, like she needed to prove to us he was real. Trevor's family owns half of downtown Seattle, she told us later that night, after he'd left. Her eyes were bright, excited. His father develops shopping centers and office buildings. His mother sits on charity boards. They know the governor, Mom, the actual governor. "That's nice, honey," I said carefully. "But do you love him? Does he treat you right?" Her face changed, got harder. "You don't understand his world, Mom. It's different than this." She waved her hand around my kitchen like it was something dirty. Richard squeezed my hand under the table. We just want you to be happy, Becca, he said quietly. I am happy, she snapped. For once in my life, I'm going somewhere. I'm becoming someone important. She looked right at me when she said it, like I'd been holding her back her whole life. That's when I knew I was losing her. Trevor proposed at a waterfront restaurant in Seattle, the kind where the cheapest meal costs more than my weekly groceries. Rebecca called me at 11 that night. Mom, I'm engaged. I was the last person she told. 2 weeks later, the wedding planning started. Rebecca invited me to a meeting at a coffee shop downtown. I drove an hour through traffic to get there. Trevor's mother, Cynthia, was already sitting at the table when I arrived. Designer purse, perfect hair, a smile that didn't reach her eyes. Dorothy, wonderful to finally meet you properly. She shook my hand like she was touching something dirty. Rebecca pulled out her laptop. Cynthia's been helping me plan everything. She knows all the best vendors. I'd love to help too, I said. Cynthia laughed. A light tinkling sound. Oh, that's sweet. But these wedding planners are very particular about communication. Too many voices create confusion. I'm sure you understand. I looked at Rebecca. She wouldn't meet my eyes. What about your dress? I asked. We could go shopping together. Just the two of us. Cynthia already made an appointment at a boutique in Bellevue, Rebecca said. They have a 2-month waiting list. When? Next Saturday. I can take the day off. It's already booked, Mom. Just for 2 people. 3 days later, I saw the Instagram post. Rebecca and Cynthia in matching robes, surrounded by white dresses and champagne glasses. The caption said, "Best day with my future mother-in-law." 2 hearts. I stared at that photo for 20 minutes. The venue got picked without me. Some estate in Woodinville, wine country that Trevor's family owned. The caterer, the florist, the photographer, the band, all chosen by Cynthia. Every time I asked to help, Rebecca said the same thing. You've done enough, Mom. Just relax. But I wasn't doing anything. I was being erased. 3 weeks before the wedding, Rebecca came to my house. She sat on the edge of my couch, like she didn't want to touch it. Mom, we need to talk about your outfit. I'd already bought a dress. Lavender from Nordstrom Rack. I saved for 3 months to afford it. I already have something. Want to see it? Cynthia thinks you should wear something more understated. Understated. The photographer is very expensive. She wants everything to look cohesive in the photos. Cohesive. Rebecca's jaw tightened. This is a high-profile wedding. Trevor's colleagues will be there. Business partners. People from his parents' social circle. First impressions matter. First impressions of your mother. Don't make this difficult. Her voice had an edge now. Sharp. Cold. Cynthia offered to take you shopping herself. She knows your budget situation. She's willing to help you find something appropriate. Something appropriate. Like I was a charity case. When did you become someone who cares more about what strangers think than about your own mother? I asked. She stood up, grabbed her purse. When did you become so selfish? This is MY wedding day. My day. For once, can you not make everything about you? She walked out. The door clicked shut. I sat there in the silence. Richard came home an hour later. Found me still sitting in the same spot. What happened? He asked. I don't know our daughter anymore. He sat next to me, put his arm around my shoulders. Maybe she's just stressed. Wedding planning is hard. She called me selfish, Richard. Me. After everything I've given her. He didn't have an answer for that. I didn't go shopping with Cynthia. I wore my lavender dress. It was small, but it was mine. The wedding day came. Saturday, June 15th. Perfect blue sky. Rebecca told me to arrive at 2 o'clock. 2 hours before the ceremony. I need help getting ready, Mom. I drove to the Ashford estate in Woodinville. Rolling lawns, rose gardens, white tents with crystal chandeliers everywhere. At the gate, a security guard stepped forward, clipboard in hand. Name: Dorothy Whitmore, mother of the bride. He scanned his list, frowned, scanned again. You're not on the early arrival list. There must be a mistake. My daughter asked me, Ma'am, I can't let you in without authorization. The family requested minimal traffic before the ceremony. Come back at 4 with the other guests. Other guests. I called Rebecca, straight to voicemail. Called again. Voicemail. I sat in my car. 30 minutes passed. A black Mercedes pulled up. The window rolled down. Cynthia Ashford. Perfect smile. Dorothy, there's been a mix-up with the arrival list. Rebecca's very busy right now with preparations. We're keeping things calm and organized. I'm her mother. Did she actually ask you to come early, or did you misunderstand? Rebecca's under so much stress. Having too many people hovering would make things worse. Why don't you come back at 4? There's a coffee shop 10 minutes down the road. The security guard watched. 2 other staff members stood nearby. He crawled up my neck. I want to speak to my daughter. That's not possible right now. Rebecca specifically told us to keep disruptions minimal. You want what's best for her, don't you? Cynthia's Mercedes glided through the gate. The gate stayed closed for me. I drove to the coffee shop, sat in a corner booth for 2 hours in my lavender dress. My daughter had locked me out. At 4 o'clock, I drove back. The gate opened this time. They directed me to parking in a far field, a 10-minute walk from the venue. I walked across gravel in my dress shoes. Dust covered the hem of my lavender dress by the time I reached the ceremony site. White chairs lined in perfect rows. Trevor's side. Rebecca's side. Trevor's side was packed. Rebecca's side had maybe 20 people. My sister Margaret waved from the 3rd row. Dorothy, over here. The 3rd row. Trevor's immediate family sat in the front, but Rebecca's front row was filled with Trevor's aunts and uncles. Where's the mother of the bride supposed to sit? I whispered to Margaret. She squeezed my hand. I don't know, honey. The ceremony started. Rebecca looked beautiful in her white gown. Probably cost more than my car. They said their vows, exchanged rings, kissed while everyone clapped. I cried, but not happy tears. The reception was in a massive tent. Thousands of fairy lights. Flowers everywhere. Tables set with china and crystal. I found my name card at table 47, back corner, far from the head table where Rebecca and Trevor sat with their wedding party. I was seated with strangers, friends of Trevor's parents. They made polite small talk for 5 minutes, then turned away. Margaret found me. This is wrong. You should be at the family table. It's fine. I lied. Dinner came. Fancy beef I couldn't identify. Tiny portions on huge plates. I pushed food around. Then the toast started. Trevor's father stood first, talked about family legacy and joining 2 families. How proud he was of his son. Then Cynthia stood, dabbed her eyes with a handkerchief. I always wanted a daughter, she said, and now I finally have one. Rebecca is exactly the woman I hoped Trevor would marry. Sophisticated, accomplished, elegant. Everyone clapped. Each word felt like a knife. Then came the mother-son dance. Trevor and Cynthia swaying to Frank Sinatra while cameras flashed. I waited for the mother-daughter dance. It never came. Instead of a mother-daughter dance, the DJ announced the father-daughter dance. Trevor's father stood up, extended his hand to Rebecca. She took it, smiled. They danced while everyone applauded. I sat frozen. watching my daughter dance with someone else's father. There was no mother-daughter dance. Rebecca had erased it completely. Margaret was crying beside me. How could she do this to you? I couldn't answer. Couldn't breathe. The party continued. People danced, drank champagne that cost more per bottle than I made in a day, laughed at jokes I couldn't hear. I sat alone at table 47, invisible. Rebecca floated around the reception with Trevor, thanking guests, posing for photos. Every time she came near my area, Cynthia appeared and steered her away. Around 9 o'clock, I decided to leave. I couldn't take any more. I went to find Rebecca to say goodbye. She was near the main house entrance with Trevor and his parents, laughing about something. I walked up. Rebecca, honey. She turned. Her smile disappeared. Mom, what are you doing here? I'm leaving. I just wanted to say goodbye. You're leaving already? Cynthia said. The party just started. I'm tired. It's been a long day. Trevor looked at his watch. It's only 9. I know, but Dorothy drove all the way from Portland, Cynthia said to the others. Her voice dripped with fake concern. That must be exhausting at her age. At her age, Rebecca wouldn't meet my eyes. Well, thanks for coming, Mom, she said. Cold, distant, like I was just another guest. I waited for a hug, for something. She turned back to Trevor's parents. Richard appeared at my side. Let's go, Dorothy. We walked to the car in silence. The long walk across the gravel field. My feet screaming. My heart broken. Richard started driving. 5 minutes passed. She didn't even hug me. I said, I know. She erased me from her own wedding. I know. Richard, what did I do wrong? He pulled over, turned to me. His eyes were wet. You did nothing wrong. Absolutely nothing. We sat on the side of the road and cried together. Then I remembered something. Something I discovered 2 weeks ago. Something that changed everything. 2 weeks before the wedding, I'd gone to the bank. I needed to withdraw money for my dress and some gifts. When the teller pulled up my account, her face changed. Mrs. Whitmore, your savings account shows a balance of $83. That's impossible. I had over $40,000 in there. She checked again. There was a withdrawal 3 months ago, April 18th, $40,000, authorized by a joint account holder. Joint account holder. Rebecca. I'd added her name when she turned 18, in case something happened to me, in case she ever needed emergency money. She'd taken it all. I drove home shaking, called her immediately. Mom, I can explain. You stole $40,000 from me. I didn't steal it. My name was on the account. That money was for emergencies, Rebecca. That was everything I saved for 40 years. I needed it for the wedding. Do you know how expensive this is? The dress alone was $15,000. Trevor's family has expectations. So you just took it without asking. Her voice turned hard. You would have said no. You would have made it difficult. This wedding is important, Mom. It's my future. That was my future too. My retirement. My security. You'll be fine. You have Richard. You have your pension. Rebecca, I have to go. The caterer is calling. She hung up. I sat there staring at my phone. $40,000. Gone. Richard found me an hour later. I told him everything. We're calling the police, he said. She's our daughter. She robbed you, Dorothy. If we press charges, we lose her forever. We've already lost her. But I didn't call the police. I couldn't. Instead, I made copies of the bank statements, printed the withdrawal records, saved every text message where Rebecca dismissed my concerns. I didn't know why I was saving them, but 2 weeks later, sitting in my car after being humiliated at her wedding, I knew exactly what to do with them. I looked at Richard. Take me back to that reception. Dorothy, take me back. Now, Richard turned the car around. We drove back to the Ashford estate. The gate was wide open now. Music and laughter poured from the tent. I walked straight through that gate, past the security guard who'd stopped me earlier. He looked confused but didn't move. Inside the tent, the party was in full swing. People dancing, champagne flowing. I spotted Rebecca at the head table. Cynthia was leaning close, whispering something. They were both laughing. I walked toward them, my lavender dress dusty, my makeup ruined from crying, but I walked with my head high. Trevor saw me first. His smile dropped. Rebecca turned. Her face went white. Mom, what are you? I need to talk to you. Now. Cynthia stood up. Dorothy, this isn't appropriate. Rebecca is entertaining her guests. Sit down, Cynthia. The tent got quieter. People were starting to notice. Rebecca grabbed my arm. Mom, please. Not here. When then? You won't answer my calls. You locked me out of your own wedding. You put me at table 47 with strangers. You're making a scene? I'm making a scene? My voice was louder now. You stole $40,000 from me. You erased me from your life. You let your husband tell security I wasn't his wife. Richard stepped forward. She's right, Rebecca. What you've done is wrong. Trevor stood up. Sir, I think you need to leave. Don't you dare, I said. Don't you dare tell my husband what to do. The music had stopped. Everyone was watching now. Rebecca's face was red, tears in her eyes, but not sad tears, angry tears. You're ruining everything, she hissed. No, baby, you already did that. I reached into my purse, pulled out the bank statements, and that's when her perfect wedding truly fell apart. I held up the bank statements. My hands weren't shaking anymore. April 18th, I said loud enough for everyone to hear. You withdrew $40,000 from my account, without asking, without telling me. Rebecca's face went from red to pale. Mom, stop. That was every dollar I saved in 40 years. My retirement, my security. You took it all for this wedding. Guests were pulling out their phones now. Recording. Cynthia stepped forward. This is a private family matter. Private. I laughed. It came out bitter. You made me wait at the gate like a stranger. Called me a parasite. Put me in the back corner of my own daughter's wedding. Nothing about this has been private. Trevor grabbed Rebecca's hand. We should go inside. No, I wasn't done. You told the security guard to pretend he didn't know me, that I wasn't your wife. Richard's voice was steady beside me. You both did that. My daughter and my wife. Rebecca was crying now. You don't understand. Trevor's family has standards. They have expectations. I needed to fit in. By erasing your own mother, Margaret had joined us. My sister's voice was sharp. By stealing from her, I didn't steal. My name was on that account. You took money meant for emergencies, I said, for a $15,000 dress, for champagne and flowers and a photographer, while I wore the same 3 dresses for 10 years so you could have new school clothes. The tent was completely silent now. Cynthia's face was tight. Trevor, handle this. But Trevor was staring at Rebecca. Something in his eyes had changed. You told me your mother was well off. He said, quietly, that she was comfortable. Rebecca's mouth opened, closed. I lied. She whispered. About what else? Trevor asked, and just like that, cracks appeared in their perfect wedding day. I turned to walk away, but I wasn't finished yet. I stopped at the edge of the tent, turned back around. There's something else you all should know, I said. Rebecca's eyes went wide. Mom, don't. Rebecca told everyone her father abandoned us when she was 3, that he walked out for cigarettes and never came back. Murmurs rippled through the crowd. That's true, I continued. But what she didn't tell you is that he left because of the debt. Gambling debt. $70,000 he owed to the wrong people. Trevor's father leaned forward. Listening now. I paid it off. Every single dollar. Took me 12 years of double shifts and night work. I paid his debts so those men wouldn't come looking for us, so Rebecca could grow up safe. Rebecca was shaking her head, tears streaming. And when Rebecca got her scholarship to University of Washington, you know what she told me? I looked at Cynthia. She said, "Finally, Mom, finally we can stop being poor." "Stop it," Rebecca whispered. "But we were never poor, baby. We just weren't rich. There's a difference." I pulled out another paper from my purse. This is the deed to my house. The house I bought by myself in 1987, paid off in 2003, worth $350,000 now. I handed it to Richard. I'm signing it over to my sister Margaret. She'll actually appreciate it. Margaret gasped, "Dorothy," and this, I held up my phone, is a recording from 3 days ago. I pressed play. Rebecca's voice came through the speaker. Clear. Sharp. "Cynthia, I need you to make sure my mom sits in the back. Far away from the important guests. Trevor's business partners can't see her. She doesn't fit the image we're trying to project." Cynthia's voice responded. "Don't worry, darling. I'll handle your mother. She won't embarrass you." The tent erupted. Trevor stepped back from Rebecca. "You planned this? All of it? Trevor, please. You had your own mother humiliated on purpose." Rebecca reached for him. He pulled away. Cynthia tried to grab the phone from me. "Where did you get that recording?" I smiled. "Your house phone. The one in the guest room where I waited while you and Rebecca had your little planning sessions. It has a recording feature. You should check your technology before you plot against people." Cynthia's face turned purple. "You recorded a private conversation in my home. You called my daughter a parasite at her own wedding. We're past private." Trevor was staring at Rebecca like he'd never seen her before. "Is this who you are? Someone who uses people and throws them away?" "No, Trevor, listen. My parents asked me if you loved me or loved my money. I defended you." His voice cracked. "I told them you were different, that you came from humble roots and understood the value of family. I do understand. You stole from your own mother." Trevor shouted, "You erased her from our wedding. You lied to me about everything." Rebecca grabbed his arm. He yanked it away. "Don't touch me." Trevor's father stood up, walked over to me. "Mrs. Whitmore, I apologize. We were told you were difficult, that you tried to take over the wedding planning and needed to be managed." "Managed?" I repeated. "We were lied to." He turned to Cynthia. "You said Dorothy was unstable, that she caused problems." Cynthia's mouth opened. Nothing came out. "Get out." Trevor said to Rebecca. "What?" "Get out of my wedding. Get out of my life." Rebecca's legs buckled. She grabbed the table for support. "Trevor, please. I love you. I did this for us. For our future. You did this for yourself." He pulled off his wedding ring, set it on the table. "We're done. You can't do this. We just got married. We'll get it annulled." He looked at his father. "Call our lawyer. Tonight." Rebecca turned to me, her face twisted with rage and desperation. "This is your fault. You ruined my life. You've always ruined everything." "No, baby, you did this yourself." She lunged at me. Richard and Margaret stepped between us. "You'll regret this," Rebecca screamed. "Both of you. I'll make sure you regret this." Security guards appeared. Trevor nodded to them. They escorted Rebecca out of the tent, still in her wedding dress, screaming, crying. The tent was silent except for her fading voice. Cynthia stood frozen, her perfect wedding destroyed. I looked at her. Now you know how it feels to be erased. The guests started leaving, quietly, awkwardly. Within 20 minutes, the tent was half empty. Trevor stood at the head table, staring at nothing. His father put a hand on his shoulder, said something I couldn't hear. Cynthia finally moved. She walked up to me, her perfect makeup ruined now. You destroyed my son's wedding day. No, your son's bride did that all by herself. You could have handled this privately. You didn't have to humiliate her in front of everyone. I stepped closer. Like she humiliated me, called me a parasite, stole $40,000, locked me out of her wedding. Cynthia had no answer. You helped her, I said quietly. You encouraged it, made her feel like I wasn't good enough for your family. You're not. I raised that girl alone. I worked myself to the bone so she could have opportunities one never did. And you convinced her to be ashamed of me. Cynthia's eyes filled with tears. Real ones this time. I thought she was strong. Independent. I didn't know she'd stolen from you. You didn't ask. You just assumed I was the problem. Richard touched my arm. Dorothy, time to go. But Trevor walked over before we could leave. His face was hollow, devastated. Mrs. Whitmore, I'm sorry. I didn't know any of this. I know you didn't, son. I loved her. I really did. I know. So did I. He nodded, swallowed hard. What she did to you, that's unforgivable. Yes, it is. I can't be married to someone like that. Someone who treats their own mother that way. I put my hand on his shoulder. You're a good man, Trevor. You deserve better. He broke down then. Started crying. His father led him away. Margaret hugged me tight. You did the right thing. Did I? Yes. Sometimes love means letting people face the consequences of their choices. Richard and I walked out of that tent, past the crystal chandeliers, past the roses and the champagne, back through the gate that tried to keep me out. This time, I walked through it with my head high. The next morning, my phone exploded. 53 missed calls. Over 100 text messages. Most were from Rebecca, begging, screaming, threatening. Mom, please. You ruined my life. Trevor won't talk to me. His family cut me off. I lost everything because of you. I hate you. I'll never forgive you. I deleted them all. Then came the calls from others. Rebecca's co-workers, people from the wedding, some supportive, some angry. One message stood out. From Trevor's father, Mrs. Whitmore, the annulment is being processed. Rebecca will be served papers this week. Trevor also discovered she lied on their prenuptial agreement about her financial situation. Our lawyers are handling it. I'm sorry for everything my family put you through. Margaret called. Dorothy, it's all over social media. Someone posted video from the wedding. It has 2 million views. 2 million people watching my daughter's downfall. I should have felt guilty. Instead, I felt nothing. A week later, Rebecca showed up at my door. No makeup. Swollen eyes. She looked small. Mom. What do you want, Rebecca? I need help. I lost my job. Trevor's family is suing me. I have nowhere to go. You have the $40,000 you stole from me. Her face crumbled. It's gone. The dress. The deposits. Everything. Then you're exactly where I would have been if you'd left me with nothing. Please. I'm your daughter. My daughter died the day she called me a parasite. I closed the door. Heard her crying on the other side. Richard found me in the kitchen. You okay? No, but I will be. He held me while I cried. For the daughter I lost. For the years I wasted. For the love that wasn't enough. But I didn't open that door. 6 months have passed. I still work at Sacred Heart Hospital. Still live in my house with the garage sale table and the water stain on the ceiling. But I got my $40,000 back. Trevor's lawyers made sure of it. Turns out when you steal from a joint account and lie about it in legal documents, there are consequences. I put the money in a new account. Just my name this time. Rebecca calls sometimes. I don't answer. She sent a letter last month. Said she was in therapy. Said she understood what she did wrong. Said she wanted to make things right. I threw it away. Maybe I'm cold. Maybe I'm unforgiving. But I gave that girl everything. And she treated me like garbage the moment I wasn't useful anymore. Richard and I are doing okay. Margaret visits once a month. We drink coffee and laugh about things that aren't funny yet, but will be someday. People ask if I regret what I did at the wedding. If I wish I'd handled it differently. No. Some people need to be humbled in front of everyone. Some lessons only stick when they're learned publicly. My daughter wanted a perfect wedding day with perfect people in a perfect world where her mother didn't exist. I gave her exactly what she deserved instead. If you're watching this and you've been treated like you don't matter by people you love, remember this. You teach people how to treat you. And sometimes the most loving thing you can do is walk away. I'm Dorothy Whitmore, and I'm nobody's parasite. Drop a comment below and let me know, did Dorothy do the right thing? Subscribe for more stories like this.